Good afternoon and welcome to the Financial Focus. I'm your host, Michael Scott Forehand. Every week we talk about one central idea, helping people make smarter financial decisions so they can build security, independence, and ultimately a legacy. For many families, that conversation starts with some basic questions. How do I protect my family? How do I grow my money safely? How do I create income in retirement that I can't outlive? And as many of you know, those questions often lead us into conversations about life insurance, about annuities, retirement planning, and the broader financial strategies that help families create stability. In my own practice and through the work that we do at the Forehand Agency, those conversations have evolved into something bigger. Over the past several years, I've been developing a framework called Kingdom Banking, which is also the title of my new book, Kingdom Banking, Legacy by Design. Kingdom Banking is about teaching people how to take control of the financial systems that affect their lives. That includes understanding tools like cash value life insurance, indexed universal life, annuities, and private pension strategies. Those tools are often misunderstood, but when correctly applied, they can provide powerful benefits, tax advantages, income stability, long-term financial control, and again, a legacy. And one of those things we're doing this year is expanding our Kingdom Club workshops around the country, bringing financial education to communities, churches, and organizations so that people can learn these systems that actually work. But there's a side of this business that most people never see. Behind every insurance agent, financial advisor, or retirement planner is a constant challenge, finding the right people who actually need the help. And that's where today's guest comes in. In the insurance and financial services world, lead generation is one of the most important and often most misunderstood parts of the business. The difference between an average agent, average is not good, and one that comes down, and a great agent is often what comes down to the quality of the conversations they're having. Our guest today is someone who has built one of the most respected lead companies in the industry. He's the founder of Razor Ridge, a company that many agents consider one of the most effective and innovative lead platforms available today. But what makes him interesting isn't just that he produces, in my opinion, some of the highest quality leads I've ever seen, but it's that he approaches the entire process differently. He is constantly testing, refining, and improving the way agents connect with clients so that the experience is better for both sides. He also is someone who recently joined us in Orlando at the Align conference with the Purdy Master Hierarchy, where a lot of phenomenal producers and leaders in the industry gathered to talk about what's working in the field and how we can help our teams grow. Right now, we're getting ready to do some beta testing on some new leads that could significantly change the way agents generate business in the future and help families. So today, we're going to talk about lead generation. We're going to talk about innovation. We're going to talk about the future of marketing in the insurance industry. And maybe we'll get a peek at the things that Razor Ridge is working on next. So please welcome with me from Razor Ridge, the founder, Io Bakare. Hey, Io.
Hey Scott, I love that intro. Thanks for having me on the pod.
Yep. I'll send you my invoice a little bit later for the promo.
Yeah, hopefully it gets lost on the way to England.
Right, right on. So you just catching up. You met us in Orlando, had a good time, got to meet you and shake a lot of hands, and I haven't asked you this question yet, and it's not even on the list of questions I'm going to ask you, but it just came to my head. Have you seen a change in your business since leaving Align? Anything new happening?
I think, yeah, great question. So the change has been more just there's a lot more buy-in into the approach. I think that and I'll probably go into it later on how we do things differently. But I think sometimes getting FaceTime with people, they can really understand what I'm trying to achieve with the leads that we generate and how we generate them and why we do it the way that we do it.
Right.
When you have time to really sit down, break bread with people and get to the true understanding of the deeper meaning of what I'm doing, people are buying into that process, then the leads are being delivered. They understand, okay, this is why I should be having this type of conversation versus before, which usually people, and I'm probably going into deep here, but most people come into when it comes to responding to leads or working leads, they have a set script that is designed to follow a set process.
Right.
Doesn't really work with how we generate leads.
Yeah.
But actually, if you think about yourself as a life insurance agent, a financial advisor, or not a financial advisor, a financial strategist, a consultant, if you go to the doctors, they don't ask
Right.
you this, the same
Yeah.
thing over and over again. They ask you questions to find out what is the issue and then how can I solve that issue. It's the same thing with the leads. We primed them up to basically you're the doctor and they
Right.
are coming to you looking for advice, and
Right.
then you give them the advice and then hopefully you get to a solution that it helps them in the long term.
I love that. All right, now I jumped ahead. So let's talk for a minute about your beginnings. So for people that don't know you, tell us a little bit about your background and how Razor Ridge came to be.
How long have you got? so
let's let's keep it to
so
two and a half minutes.
Sure. So, okay, I'll give you the brief. So, I've got a background in financial services. So, I actually am a CFA qualified chart holder. I don't sign up to it anymore, but I've done all my financial exams. I've been a research analyst for almost a decade, I'd say. But then I needed a career change because I wanted to just do something for myself to give me my time back. So that led me into lead generation, initially for mortgage brokers, in fact,
Right.
just before COVID. And then COVID hit and decimated the mortgage market, and we're
Yep.
doing it in the States as well, decimated the mortgage market overnight. And so in my mind, I was thinking, how do I find a product or an area of the market which isn't susceptible to peaks and troughs or financial crashes or just crazy things like pandemics, and that led me to life insurance. So I spent a few years doing, or a couple of years running life insurance lead gen in the UK, and then I had a fortunate opportunity to then expand that to the US through a network person of mine, and from that led me to Symmetry Financial Group. So at the time they needed help because they were moving from analog to digital,
Right.
help with the Debt Free Life program that they were
Right.
running. And so I ran a test with their team, Mike Resmer, and they were just astounded by the results. They're like, this is the best thing that we've ever seen. And so that's where we originally came in, but it still wasn't Razor Ridge at that time. It was still
Right.
my ex-partner and Extensio, my UK company. And then Symmetry had more issues that they came to us with. They're like, we need help with mortgage protection. Leads don't know how to do that digitally, so solve that issue. And then I floated the idea, why don't you just do general life? Why are we doing mortgage protection when we could just, you got this whole big world out there, we're focusing on this small world. I think it was PTSD from the mortgage market.
Right. Right. You were
Like, I
still
need to get out
recovering.
of
Right.
it. Yeah.
Right. Very
And
cool.
so that led to the general life leads, which is probably our highest selling product. And then Razor Ridge was formed as initially a joint venture between my partner's company actually, but my company and Symmetry. And then fortunately, in July last year, so 2025, I took full control, 100% ownership of Razor Ridge. And yeah, a lot of changes since then. So I'm really excited about what we've achieved in the short period of time, but
Right.
also what we're going to achieve in hopefully another short period of time. There's a lot going on behind
Well,
the scenes.
you're certainly making a splash here. I know that I have regular conversations with people, leadership around the country for Symmetry and for individual agency owners, and your name is gold right this minute. So, all right. So,
I'll take that.
lead generation is one of the biggest struggles for agents in this industry. And what do most agents get wrong when they are thinking about leads?
There's multiple ways you can answer that, but I'm gonna go down this approach of that most agents treat every lead as the same. And I think the biggest challenge for anyone who's working leads is they have this set way of running their own conversation with a lead. and they think that will migrate to every single lead that they purchase. But actually, once you get into the detail, at least what I'm learning from people I speak to, agents that I speak to, is the true value of the lead conversation is you need to understand how it's sourced. You really need to
Right.
understand what they are going through before they get to you as an individual, because then that will mean that the way you treat that lead will be different to the way you treat another lead. A
Right.
good example might be, an analog lead that they're probably 75, 80 years old, filled out a form and filled it out, which is great, good intent, etc. But the way that lead, you deal with that lead and one of our mortgage protection leads, you cannot use the same framework. It will never work because they are coming from different places.
Right.
And I think the biggest challenge for agents when they come into, they think every lead is a lead, which kind of is true, but it's not. Every lead is an opportunity for you to have a conversation with someone, but
Right.
that conversation you have has to be different based on where you're getting that lead from.
Yep.
And once you understand that, your whole mindset should change to not what the lead that I'm buying. Firstly, how is it sourced, and how can I extract the best information from the lead provider as possible for me to make myself sound like someone that should be working these leads. And it's a different mindset to what most
Right.
people say. They're like, oh, this is a cheap one, this is expensive. I'm gonna have got this script that is $1 million script that someone else uses for their calling leads. I'm going to use that script and use it for that. And then they get terrible results. They're like, why am I getting terrible? It's not working. The leads suck.
Yeah. It's not the lead. No.
But it really is. It's really, I think, and
Right.
I know it's probably different to what most people were expecting as an answer, but I think once you really understand that thing, it then opens up your mind to, wait a second. I actually, in theory, could be successful in every single lead type if I just tweak the way I approach every single lead type. And then if you think about it that way, then you think, how can I be very efficient with my leads budget, my lead spend? And
Right.
now I know it's a not normal way of thinking, but I think there's a big opportunity out there for people who are keyed into this message to understand that, as if you are trying to become a better agent, the first thing you need to do is understand, how are my leads sourced and how can I get the most out of that lead by the way it's sourced. And once you understand that, things will come a lot easier.
And you also said it without saying it. Meet people where they're at.
Correct.
That's
Yes.
the key
100%.
here. Okay.
100%.
All right. So Razor Ridge has built a reputation for producing very high quality leads. What's your philosophy behind this approach, and what is your approach to lead gen? Is
So as you
without
can,
giving away trade secrets.
no, no. I mean, I'm known to talk. So.
I'm cautioning you.
Uh, honestly, it is that word I just said, honest marketing. I think every way that I approach our lead gen process is being as honest as possible to the person who is completing that process. So that means on the front end, our ads tell you it's life insurance. They tell you it's life insurance and living benefits. They tell you this is what it's going to be. This is the
Right.
thing that you are going to click the button to get.
Right.
Because if you start with a intro that is, you're guaranteeing someone, you will get 100 million or sorry, not 100 million, $1 million for $50 a month. That's what they think about when they go through the form. And so when you get to the end of that whole process and they speak to the agent, they'll say, "Hey, I want $1 million for $50 a month." And obviously, it's not that simple. There's lots of questions that you need to ask them to figure
Right.
out.
Right.
Firstly, they
Yeah.
can
Just give
qualify
me
for
a
that
price.
much. Yeah,
It'll be somewhere between $5,000 and $5,000 a month.
yeah,
Now you want to
exactly.
answer
And
some
because
questions, we can pare that down.
exactly, and because life insurance is so customizable, it's not like
Right.
car insurance where it's just a price, right? It's customizable to that individual. Being honest up front means that every step of the journey, when we are being honest about what's going to happen from the start, the middle, and the end point on the thank you page of what the process is going to be like, when you meet the expectation, or in some cases exceed the expectation, then it's a much easier conversation because it just disarms the individual. So many people are used to having bait and switch marketing where you promise one thing and you've delivered something else. And people are so used to it because the modern age is bait and switch. Like everything is
Right.
bait and switch.
Yeah, and
And so, so
it
if you're
angers
just
them, and then all of a sudden it's the agent that has to pick up the pieces and try to smooth things over. It's making it
correct,
more difficult to make a sale when you do
correct,
stuff like that.
exactly right. And my job is to make at least try to make your job as an agent as easy as possible. Why would I want to do that? It may cost me more money to generate the leads because they're being told what's going to happen. But the
Okay.
idea is that the person individually is just a made better person to speak to. And you're going to speak to more people. You can have way more consistent conversations. You can have better conversations. And your whole life will be much happier because you're not trying to smash the door down every time you speak to someone, keep them on the phone for 5 minutes because I need to get through my script. It's really
Right.
just I need to
Right.
just go through I need to
Just
consult.
wait. Don't answer anything. I need to finish this script. No. No.
Yeah,
Get away from the script.
exactly. And with honest marketing and the honest approach, it means that you just have a way stickier person who is more likely to respond. And when they do respond, you're just going to have a proper conversation
Right.
about what they need.
Right. A proper conversation.
It's
Okay.
very English of me.
Love it. It's very English. It's awesome. All right. So, from your perspective, working with thousands of agents at this point, what separates agents who are consistently profitable from those who struggle?
There's two elements here. One, and it's both to do with consistency, but one is consistency with their ordering, but they're only consistent with their ordering because they know their numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you can't be consistent because you can't back solve how much input you need to get the output.
Right.
I think a lot of times, and I spoke to agents at Align, so I do know this, where I asked them, hey, so tell me what your numbers are. What's your average contact rate? Oh, I don't really track that. I'm like, you don't track that? Like, why don't you track that? And it may seem like such a benign thing to just not do, but if I get an example is an agent which I've just done some work with, he orders 32 leads every 2 weeks. I was like, why do you, that's not typical. People are like, be 16 a week, 16 a week. But he knows his workflow. His workflow is if I order 32, 4 or 5 of those, I will slam dunk that one call close, 4 or 5 of those. So he's like, okay, cool. So I got my money back. And then I have the tail end people which need follow up. And some might follow up that same week. A lot of them go into the next week. So by the time I've done all my follow up in the next week, I've closed another 3 to 5 or whatever. And then
Now you're
I do my new
profitable.
order. Then
Right.
you're profitable, then your order. But he knows it, the input, the output, the input, the output. He knew every single metric to get him to that point. So he's not bothered by spending money to buy leads
Right.
because he knows the output is going to be there. Now, the
Right.
difference is and I'll preface with this, the difference is though, is he trusts the lead source that he's getting his leads from. And that's another thing that you can add on top of it, which
Right.
is if your lead performance is janky, i.e., one week it's like everyone's amazing, next week they're shocking, next week they're amazing, and it's not very consistent, it's likely the lead source is doing something whereby they're I wouldn't call it open borders because that sounds horrific, but
Yeah, we had that
they are,
conversation before.
yes, they're not qualifying or quantifying the conversation or controlling the conversation for when that lead is starting to where it ends.
Right.
And if you're not controlling the conversation, it means that you have too much variance in opportunity set. If you control the conversation, everyone has basically seen this and is going to be act like this. And so your variance of performance will be very small. But
Right.
if your conversation opportunity with, they might have ads that bait and switch or whatever. Some people don't mind bait and switch 1 week. Everyone hates bait and switch the next week. And so what you're seeing is your performance is just so up and down because you're like, I thought I cracked it. It's not you. Sometimes it can be the lead source that does that. So that's just an overlay in all of this. The consistency of ordering is very important. And also the knowing your numbers is even more important because if you don't know that, then you're blind.
Right.
How can you run a business not
Yeah,
knowing
you're
your
just
inputs and
throwing a
outputs?
dart and seeing what happens.
Yeah,
All
I've
right.
tried that. I've failed many
Yeah.
times.
Okay. So one thing I appreciate about you, IO, is that you're consistently testing new ideas. Can you talk about a little bit about stuff that's coming up, your ideas, where you're headed with some of this stuff? Any beta testing getting ready to happen? What can you say, or what are you comfortable saying about any of that stuff?
So the current test is live, which is performing way better than I ever anticipated, which is getting your leads to be a bit more communicative to you ahead of time. I won't go into too much details of how we do it,
Yeah.
but the idea is what I've learned is if we can build agents up as being this, this special person, this only person that can solve their problems. If the problem that we built inside them with our flow, that's very honest and very above board, if we can build that problem so much that they have this feeling that they just need to get it solved today, immediately, then that's now an option that is available to people. And what you're finding is that those that are contacting their agents ahead of time, before any automations or overnight, etc., all that stuff is happening, the response rate is way better. As in, I actually have numbers. So your contact rate is about 90% on those
90?
people. Yeah, it's about 90%.
Wow, it's gone up.
Yeah, and then
It's
your close
80 the
rate.
last time I looked.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, that's
So
awesome.
just
Bravo.
for that cohort of people that respond, right? So it's 90%. The close rate from, again, this is anecdotal, so I can't like put my hat on it, but it's about 75%, which is humongous. But these are people who are actively saying, "Hey, I need you to solve my problem like immediately," right? And
Right,
a lot of
right,
those closes are one call closes as well.
right.
So that's the test that we've done, and it's going really well. And I'm on version 7 of that. So and that
Wow.
was out, and
Okay.
so that was just out a month ago. But I'm iterating really quickly because now I know the more people that I can get to text or call or whatever, the better the performance will be of the leads for the agents.
Right.
So it's worth my time and effort to spend trying to improve that process. So that's one. Another thing is advanced market leads, which I'm sure we'll go into later, which I'm
Hmm.
really excited about because I think people watching this are like, what is an advanced market lead? Like, what is it? It's so typically people who sell leads, they'll sell an IUL lead or an IBC lead or annuity lead. But all of these people are just somebody that has an idea of what cash value life insurance could do for them, not necessarily what it can do for them in their specific situation. And as agents, your role, or not even as agents, really your financial strategists at this point, your role isn't to tell them you are getting an IUL because that's what you want. It's to find out, wait, what is your situation? Okay, based on your current profile and your situation, and they may have come in as an IUL, but I don't think that's a good idea for you because of X, Y, and Z
Right,
reason.
right.
But then sometimes it's hard to pivot from that conversation because you pigeonholed everybody into that
Right.
IUL conversation. And so by creating an advanced market lead, what we're doing is getting away from the specific products and just going into cash value life insurance can do all these many different things that are great, right? Now, you need to speak to somebody who can help you design a plan that fits your criteria. And from that, as long as you have the right people coming in, it means as a financial strategist, it opens up the full suite, the whole gambit,
Right, right.
right? You can have real honest conversations about, okay, so I can see you come in. Your tilt is you're looking for something that maybe can help you, pay down your debts faster. Talk to me about your situation. And then they go into their situation. Okay, maybe that's a good idea, but you've got
Right.
this 401k rollover that we can do as well. That turns into two products that you speak about. Or you've got kids that you're looking to go to college. Oh, then we can do a third, which is an IUL. And then suddenly, this advanced market lead
Right.
is because you haven't pigeonholed them. You can just have a real honest conversation, right? And an
Yep.
honest conversation should mean that you have more opportunity to just find out what's going on in their situation
Right.
because they've now accepted that you're the expert that can help them in their situation.
Right. Love it. All right. So let's switch gears again. Um, so in the next few years, how do you see AI, data, and technology changing the way agents generate business?
There's so many levels to
Right.
this, right?
Right.
So many levels. So on the surface, like on a simple level, if you want to call it that, AI can help agents just be more efficient with their time, right? So you can have AI that you build that can help with your texting, or you can have robot like voice agents now, which are pretty awesome. That can help with your follow-ups, that can help with long-term follow-ups. It can help with recovery of lost leads. AI is very capable of doing all those things now, but I'd say that's level one. That's like just
That's
basic now.
now. Like, what
Yeah,
do you
yeah, that's
see in the
like
future?
basic. So in the future, things like underwriting and but also live sales training and how can I describe it? Like live training on your approach on the phone, but also live underwriting on the phone or wherever. AI is keyed into it, the person's telling you their issues, and then AI on your screen is saying, okay, this is what you need to do, or ask this question, or I need a bit more information about this. So it's starting to train you to be a better agent by asking the right questions.
Love it.
If that would be cool. I mean, that's something I've thought
Right.
about. I haven't built it, but I'm sure that would be cool. And then the last thing is having AI that is also helpful for building a better business. So almost like having, I know AI agents is new thing, but having AI agents that are built for specific things. So you have an AI agent that's built for client retention, AI agents that's built for referral generation, AI agents that are built for like operations. It knows your numbers. So it started to analyze all your data. It knows all your lead sources. So what it does for you as an individual is you're more efficient because you don't have to do it yourself, but also you've got this thing working 24/7 behind the scenes, finding out all the things about your business, making it more efficient, and then giving you advice on what to do next. That is the ultimate solution. That will change the game for
Wow.
everyone. New starters and
And
really experienced agents will
what
just be able to be more
what kind of
efficient with their
timeline
time.
would you put on something like that?
12 months.
Really?
12 months. Yeah, I think
Wow.
it's possible in 12 months. I think the way things are going right now, even internally for us, like we utilize AI in not actually as much as we should, but the things that we utilize AI in has allowed us to get our ideas in progress probably 2 to 3 months faster than we could have before. So the whole iteration process that I just told you about with what we've been doing on behind the
Right.
scenes, that whole process, I'll probably still be on version 3 right now. If maybe in version 2, if I didn't have AI helping just
Gotcha.
number crunch and data analyze and optimize on the fly, because it's not as you'd have to get the data. I'd have to spend time, download it to a spreadsheet, get all the data number crunched, then figure out where I'm at, look at all the videos that we've got on the page, and then all these things
Right.
that will take me a lot of time to do. The AI just like, yeah, done it.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
it's so easy for you to get things done just way faster. And so the way things are going, I don't think it's unreasonable to think within 12 months we've got solutions for everything that I've just said.
Right. All right. So, um, earlier on in the monologue, and then a little bit earlier, we talked about Kingdom Banking and the Kingdom Club. So we've been discussing doing some lead generation around the Kingdom Banking topics, things we've already talked about like IULs, annuities, infinite banks, IBC, and financial education workshops. What excites you about this kind of lead model?
Well, first thing, as also a man of faith, it's
Love it.
good to be part of something where I believe it's going to make a big difference to congregations, churches,
Sure.
communities, because that sort of lower middle income, or maybe even like higher middle income, they're really underserved with financial knowledge, and all these products are available. But then also adding in that overlay of like the kingdom
Right.
element, the faith element, it really underpins it as a tools that can be used correctly within scripture
Yep.
to help them and their congregations and their families in that situation. So that for me, well, number one, is it's just great to be part of it, just because it's an awesome opportunity that I didn't ever think I'd ever get an opportunity to do. And second, it's it gives us an opportunity to create something unique, selfishly, something unique, something different,
It is
something
unique.
that hasn't, from what I can see, hasn't been done before. But also, what's kind of, in my opinion, better is that we're approaching things from the right standpoint. What I mean by that is I'm very honest with my marketing. Kingdom Club is very honest with obviously its scripture and
Right.
how everything underpins scripture. What you don't want is having this being dishonest and then this being
Right.
honest.
Right.
Because of
Yeah,
scripture,
that won't
right?
work.
And so it won't work. So
Yeah.
having just like merging the two into what I hope will be a very seamless product that will help so many people, families. It, I'm just really excited for how this plays out, and seeing this sort of work in
Yep.
on the field or in the field.
I'm excited too. Okay, so almost at the end here. So, what advice would you give to a new agent that's trying to figure out how to invest wisely in leads and marketing? And I think you already said it earlier, but this, but it's still prudent what you said.
That's a great question. Um, I think from my end, knowing how the leads are sourced, wherever
Yep.
you get them from, is paramount. Like you can't. I'm going to go somewhere else with this actually. Know where your leads are sourced is important, because I think, like I said before, without knowing that, you don't know how you need to respond and meet the people, as you mentioned, give right expectation. That friction causes doubt, and when you have doubt in someone's mind, they're not going to work with you. That's what happens, right? And then if you force someone to work with you, they're just going to charge back. That's what's going to happen. So what you want to do is have that element of understanding of where the leads come from as a new agent, but also from thinking about it as someone who is senior, bringing in new agents in. How can you approach that also, almost that progression for that individual? Let's say you're somebody who is running, you do personally, because you're an agency owner, whatever you do, you run mortgage protection calling leads, but then you're teaching your team on, not call-ins, sorry, mail-ins, sorry. Then you're teaching your team by call-ins, and then go to digital, or then maybe try that
Right.
one or do that. That there's like inconsistency. There's no
Right.
logic behind that whole conversation, because every time they move somewhere else, that conversation is different,
It
as
starts
we've
the
just gone
learning curve
through.
again. Yeah, that's a
Exactly, you're
that's a
restarting
problem.
over and over and over again. So again, this is maybe a selfish little plug, but within Razor, what I'm building is every lead is goes through exactly the same process. So we have our honest marketing in the front, which for General Life and Premium, etc., is the same, and MP will be what it is. But then they go through our same flow, where it's very honest about if you do qualify for something or you don't. And then they go to our landing endpoint, which then says, this is the person that you're going to deal with. Do you want to communicate with them before, ahead of time? Doesn't matter if you're buying our cheapest lead or most expensive lead. That process is the same. Why is that important for a new agent who's starting out? Because if you're someone senior that's been working the leads from Razor, even if it's on the higher end, you can teach that agent specifically, oh, this is how I approach it. It's got to
Yep.
work for you, because that process is going to be exactly the same. The only difference is the people you're going to have in there is going to be slightly different to me. I could afford to pay for, these higher end people because that's my budget. But just because you have a lower budget doesn't mean that you're going to get a whole different product that isn't translatable to what I do. And I think perception wise, that is a big thing. If someone who's just starting out can see the road to your success, which is I buy 10 premium leads a week, I make 10 grand a week or whatever, and it's from the same place,
Right.
then they can naturally progress themselves to that position. The difficulty I find, and again, this is something I learned from the Align conference, is where you have people who just their whole agencies are everywhere. Like they don't know what
Yeah.
people are running. They don't know where they're running it. They don't know how they're running it. So it's when you're trying to build, not only for someone who's experienced, but someone who's experienced, trying to build this your business and your organization, you need consistency and a system for people to just plug into to make your life easy. If you have too many things going on, there's no system, and then it becomes confusion.
Right.
Then that retention hamster wheel starts taking it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I've been
becomes a
there.
big problem.
And
And
then the
so I know
grind
I
isn't fun.
said it's not fun, right? And
Right.
so this is I know I kind of digressed the question, but there is a link to everyone here, that not just someone who's just starting out, someone who's senior. There needs to be consistency, because if you're going to do analog leads, your whole agency needs to do analog leads,
Yeah.
because it's so much easier to train them when you're doing the same thing.
Yep. And that when we're not going to talk about analog leads right now. We're going to stay with digital,
Sorry, yeah.
right?
So just so yeah, I know.
Right.
Yeah, but as an example, Razor Ridge, you could do
Folks,
Razor Ridge
analog
leads.
leads are great, but it's a dying source. So be
Yes,
careful. All
yes,
right.
yeah.
All right. We're getting ready to go home, IO. So what's next for Razor Ridge? Is there anything coming that agents should be watching out for, or watching for, or excited about? Or what
Yes, I
would
mean,
you
so
like to
we've
say?
we've we've discussed obviously the Kingdom Club, the advanced market leads, which I'm so excited for them. I'm really excited to see how they play out. But another thing that we are building quietly, I'd say behind the scenes, not so quiet anymore, is our own CRM. So we actually have a CRM called Mama, but it will be rebranded. And a lot of the elements of what we're doing on the front end will be inbuilt and ingrained in the CRM, but we'll approach it with a AI first mentality.
Okay.
And so yeah, there's going to be the version one won't necessarily be fully integrated, but we've already got the framework planned on what we need to do and the time frame we need to do it in, to ensure that we build a platform that enables not only like this, most people use their CRMs to get a lead, have an appointment with a lead, close a lead. Yeah, cool. That's okay, right? But it's not really what a CRM is for. The CRM for is the customer retention system, right?
Yep.
So you need to make sure that are retaining every single person in your books. There's ways to do it. Again, I won't be talking about that, but there's ways to do it,
Right on.
and
Yeah.
that will be within the CRM. So as you get it, it'll be
So Io, when's this CRM thing you were talking about coming out?
so I think we're
Or
5 weeks
do you
out.
have a date? Is it
So we're
quarters away
about
or years away
it
or months away?
is about 5 weeks out. So
Okay.
we are week 2 of our 6 week plan.
Okay.
So we are, yeah, so probably mid to end of April
All right.
is when I expect us to be relaunching that, which
And
I
this
am very
this is
excited
going to
about.
air early April, so that means by the time you see this, it's probably about 2 weeks out.
2 weeks.
Right.
Even
Okay.
better, even better. Yeah.
Right
So
on.
yeah, the plan is it'll be out, and we will be making sure that look, I speak to a lot of people, right? And I understand a lot of the frustrations of what people are going through as not just new agents, but experienced agents and above. And what is clear is that there's gaps for all of these individual things to be just put into one place. So it's easy for people to work their jobs and work their organization with simplicity. That's
Right.
ultimately, if I could make your life easier, and you all, and when I say easier, significantly easier, then you're more likely to stay with Razor, right? So it's in our interest to make sure that you guys are well looked after as much as possible.
Right on. All right, Io. Let's go ahead and plug your business. If people want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you? How do
Right.
they order
So
Razor Ridge leads?
If you're looking to order Razor Ridge leads, you don't have to be part of Symmetry. You can be anyone from any organization, captive or not. Go to therazorridge.com. On there, you can order different lead types. We have intro specials for our lead types. So we have currently, right now, at the time of filming, it may change by the time you get there, but at the time of filming, we have two general life products. One which is standard, which we that one it's targets multiple platforms, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I'd say the benefit of having YouTube in the mix is YouTube converts about 2 times better than the other two completely. It's way more expensive to generate the leads, don't get me wrong, but the conversion rates are way better. And so YouTube underpins it a lot of the leads that go into standard right now, as well as our premium product, which does a lot more about financially qualifying individuals. So what do I mean by that? We only target people firstly on YouTube, so we know the conversion rate is going to be higher than average by double. And then we also target people who are the top 50% of household incomes, because now what we're going to look for is opportunity to sell them one policy, but potential policies down the line for them, better referrals. Usually because it's the US, higher incomes means better health. And so usually these people are healthier as well. So it's easier to go through the underwriting, get paid faster. We remove anyone who's on Social Security, anyone who is over 70, and anyone who is that's kind of it basically. But then we also add in things within the survey, which means that anyone who is unhealthy, they are already told ahead of time certain things about them
Right.
and their situation, which means that the overall conversation is always just much smoother
Sure.
when you get to someone who's unhealthy. And then our mortgage
Don't come
protection
with
works
unrealistic expectations. Is that what you're saying?
expectations. Exactly. And then
Okay.
similar with mortgage protection is all done YouTube only, similar vibe, but we target people who are in different life stages or people who are looking, to refinance, etc. We're creating a much better digital version of an analog because we're not only getting people who are younger, which means you can do some cool stuff with advanced market
Yep.
wise, but what it also allows you to do is create an order book of people or a book of people who are going to be with you for a long time. And
Right.
that's important as you're trying to build an
Yeah.
organization. You don't have just one sale done, one sale done. It's one sale turns into two, turns into four from that one individual. And that's what I'm trying to preach, which you'll hear probably a lot more about me in the future. So that's what we're doing at Razor.
All right. Well, Io, thanks for coming. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for giving us some information. And look forward to continuing to work with you. And for those of you that are interested in the book, Kingdom Banking: Legacy by Design, is available on Amazon for ebook or for hard copy delivery. And if you're interested in the Kingdom Club and want to help take the word to your church or your organization, just go to www.kingdom-banking.net. Thanks, everybody. Bye.